Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Sandy, so welcome. And today I am going to do a video on how to make these darling little cinch little golden books. And I'll show you the cinch machine, and it's not that expensive, so if you don't already have one and this is something you're really interested in, it might be a worthy investment, because just look how cute these turn out. And I'll show you how to make it here. But I love trying to pick out papers that coordinate with the pages. Like here's a bird and I have birds. But I'll just do a quick little flip through here, and you can kind of see all the cute little papers. So if you have a bunch of paper pads in your stash, this is a great stash buster with your paper pads. All right, so let's get started. And I do have these for sale. They're $15 plus shipping. So if anyone is interested in any of these, let me know. I'll do PayPal or Venmo, so just let me know. I have Home for a Bunny, Finding Nemo, and Alice in Wonderland. And I have tons of little golden books, so if you're looking for one in particular, let me know. Here's a couple here that I thought I would work on today. Aren't they adorable? This one I might make into like a regular spine journal, so just be aware of that. So that one would cost more. So I am going to start with Pokey Little Puppy. And what's really nice about these cinch journals is you don't have to worry about taking the staples out of the spine. I do have videos on how to do all that and to save the little strip, the little golden book strip. So I'll link those down below. But those are great videos, tutorials on how to make like a regular journal using the little golden book journal. And so with these, because we don't need to save the spine, I just take my time and cut right along that fold right there. And I try not to cut into the actual cover. I want to stay on the spine or on the fold itself. So you just take your time. And it's that easy. And then we'll trim all this up in a minute. Let's get the back one off. I hope everybody's doing great. I'm doing okay. My back is bothering me a little bit again, and I'm trying to not let it slow me down. I did go and play some pickleball with some friends last night, so that was good. And then we'll cut the papers off, and you can either use your paper trimmer or just use your scissors. And I am gonna, yeah, I don't think I can cut that many pages with these scissors. So I'm gonna take, actually, what am I gonna do? Look at this, it's so old, it has their little advertisement in the back. Isn't that adorable? I don't know if I'll put this in the journal though. Trying to remember, I didn't use my paper trimmer. Oh, maybe this is going to cut it. Okay. I thought it was going to be too thick, but it looks like I'm getting through it. If you can't cut through that thick, you can use like a X-Acto knife and just try to cut down the pages. That's always an option, but this seems to be working for me. And then I'll just straighten them up, straighten the edge up on my trimmer. Yeah, and this journal size, it's roughly about 6 inches wide and 8 inches tall, roughly. Okay, so we have the pages out. I'll use my trimmer and trim that up. And if you feel the need to number the pages so you don't get them out of order, just with a pencil, lightly number the pages so you don't get them out of order. So we'll come back to these in just a minute. I want to just trim up the edges and get, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's the fold part, and I just want to kind of trim this up and make it look a little bit neater. My daughter gave me this for Mother's Day. Isn't that the cutest? I think it's a little hedgehog, but it's to clean off my desk. She got it at a little store here in town. And then I want to make sure these are close to the same width. It'll just make the journal look nicer. So yeah, that looks pretty good. And I cleaned off, I just used a baby wipe and cleaned any of the grunge off of the covers. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is trim these up a little bit. And yeah, I can probably go, looks like maybe a 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. So I will trim all these down and I'll be right back. So yeah, so this is measuring about just under a 6 1/4. So I want the pages to be about that size. All right, so I will trim these down and I'll be back. I've trimmed all the pages up, and I feel like they fit, yeah, they fit great in here. So the next thing we want to do is find the decorative paper that we want to use in this little journal. Like I said before, this is a good scrapbook paper buster. So I pulled out a few paper pads that I thought had some nice blues. I don't know if this one will work, but some blues and greens and little pops of pinks and peaches and yellows. And these are the ones that I picked out. I usually get most of my paper pads from either Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or Joann's. And so I'm going to flip through these and pull out, I think I'm going to pull, I counted up the pages in these other ones, and I have 22 decorative scrapbook papers in addition to the, plus there's the journal, the little golden book pages. So I'm going to pull out some sheets out of here and start cutting those down. So these are the ones that I pulled out that I think might work. I think some of these are pretty good. Some of them are double-sided, which I like. I think this little peach might work on a couple pages. And then there's flowers, and then this blue I think will look nice. And then these pretty, what are these, daisies, right? And I like that little pop of purple. They don't have to be an exact match, but, you know, just pick out some pretty ones that you think might go together. And then they're out, you know, exploring around. So the green I thought would be good. The roses was pretty. And then that's pretty with the little butterflies. I think this one's really pretty. And I like this has a little bit of journaling space. Now, if you wanted to do like antique ledger papers, antique music papers, you could also use that. But for this particular tutorial, I'm just using the decorative paper. So I am going to trim all these down. I'll trim one down with you guys, and then I'll do the rest off camera. And the nice thing about these is you can get 2 sheets out of each page. And I think that is a good option. So I'm going to cut these to be 6 inches, and then like I said, this is, let's see. Okay, so this one is 7 3/4. So I'll want to make the papers just a little under 7 3/4. So it's good to measure. And then like this is 6 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep them at 6. I think that'll be just fine. And let's see how that looks. So 7 3/4 is going to be the height. So I am going to go down just under 7 3/4. So there's 7 3/4. And I'm going to go just short of that because I don't want it, the pages to be taller than the cover. And then these are great. You can use these if you want to add pockets to the pages. You can add pockets, or you can use them for another project, just depending on how decorated you want to make these. And so since I'm making these for a craft fair, I'm wanting to keep the price point low, so I'm not adding any pockets at this juncture. But you can see how quickly these come together, and they're a great craft fair item. But I think it would be fun to, decorate them up even more. So I'm going to keep cutting the rest of these papers, and then we'll be back for the next step. I have all the decorative pages trimmed down, and we're going to be using the larger cinch, and I'll walk you through all of that in just a minute. We need to put the pages in the order that we want to have them be in the journal. And then I'm going to use a gold spine. Okay, I try not to overthink the pages too much, but it can get tricky sometimes. So we just kind of want to look through the pages. So I have 2 of each design, and some of them are double-sided. I do really like this one. I think that's really pretty. And then I'm gonna do 2 sheets per section. So I am gonna go through, I think, and pick flowers for each section. I think that one's pretty. We'll do the daisy there. Like I said, I'm trying not to overthink it too much. I like that green with that one. I like this because of all the multicolors in the blanket. I like the blue with that. And I think that's just really pretty with that one. Does it go this way? I think it goes that way, right? And then I like this, yeah, I like this blue with that. And then, oh, I like this green one on that page. And then I like that pink one there. But then I want, yeah, I think I want that one there. And then I think we'll do that one. And oh yeah, I think that 2 greens. Oh yeah, I think that'll look pretty with that one. Okay, so then I'm gonna go back through and add the second page. Okay, so we got this pink here. Oh, and I think the roses would look really pretty with that. And then we have these pretty flowers. And I think, yeah, I think that'll look fun. So I'm going to have the blank page be facing this, and then that be with that page. Look how cute that looks together. And then over here, I want to do these pretty pansies with this, and then we'll have that with that. I think, look how cute that looks. And then, yeah, I still like that. But then, let's see, do I like that page? You know what? I like that with that. And then, I think that looks really good with that. So I'm going to put those together. And then I like that with that. I think. Look. Other things I have here. Yeah. I think that looks good. I could do... Yeah, no. Yeah, I like those together and those together. And then, again, I think, let's see. Oh, no. Maybe. Yeah, I think I like those with that. And then here I think we need, oh yeah, look how pretty that looks together. And then that, love it. And then, oops, so here we need, that's too dark. Oh, I think that looks good. Yeah. Yeah, that looks nice. And then, let's see. There was one oh, I already did that here. Perfect. Okay. So we have that, and that, and then that. And then, oh, and then we got these two. And then we need one back here. And what we have left, that's pretty. Oh, but that's really pretty too. Yeah, I think we'll end with, I think we'll end with that one. Okay, now we are ready to start punching some holes. You can also do this with the smaller cinch. You just have to kind of punch through a couple times, which we'll have to on this one as well. So the smaller cinch works just fine. And then I always just double check on the instructions. It gives you a guideline here of how tall your book is, it tells you where to punch the hole. And I always like to do a tester before I get started. And so, because mine's almost 8 inches. It's 7 and, just under 7 3/4. So I think that I'm going to go with the 8. I'm going to go with the 8 inches and see if that will work or if it gets the holes too close to the top. If so, I might try, because it goes from 2 to 4. So we'll see. It's always good to play around. So I'm going to try with a tester page. So the first one I'm going to try is pulling out the 4 inches. So what you do is you have it, into your 6-inch mark here. Or I guess that's 7 inches. And we'll punch the holes. Yeah, so that's 7 inches right there. Or is that 6? I think that's 6. Nope, that's 7. Okay. And then you extend this out. And so they say to do 4. Okay, I think that's right. Because if I did 2, if I pulled that out, yeah, 7's way too short. 3, I think, yeah, we're going to do 4. And then you just slide it back in, and over on the side here, there's this is like a little locking thing. So you put your paper in here, and then you push that down, and that helps keep your paper aligned. So when you punch it, it'll all line up nicely. And then I pulled number 4 out, so this will not punch. And, none of these will punch because the paper's not under them. So it'll punch 3 holes here. Yeah, okay, I think that's going to work just fine. Because if I pulled out 3, I wouldn't have this hole, and I feel like that's too far away from the top. So yeah, so we're going to go with 4 inches, or number 4, since these are 8 inches. So you just go through and punch all the holes. I'm going to do a couple of them with you on camera, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Now the thicker chipboard, it's going to make my camera move probably. So sorry about that in advance. And you do have to use more pressure. And then you got to remember to pull out the number 4. And there you have the holes for the cover. Looks really nice. I think that looks good. So then I usually do, you can try to do as many pages as you want. I usually do about 3 or 4 at a time. So you want to make sure that all your pages are lined up on this side, so that you'll get an even punch on all of the papers. And then we'll just go through. And you want to keep them all lined up here. Pull out the number 4. And then you just repeat that process all the way through. And on the back cover, you want to make sure you put it in facing this way, because if you put it in facing this way, you'll be punching holes on the wrong side. So just remember that. You'll want this up. All right, I'm going to punch the rest of these, and we'll be back for the next step. I am back, and I have all the holes punched. So the next thing we're going to do is the binding part. And the way this works is you take the side that has the loops. See how this side is open, or they have the teeny tiny loops. These are the fatter loops. You drape those over these hooks that they have on the side here. Hopefully you can see that okay. and we're ready to start binding. And the first thing that you'll want to do is you put the back cover on last, okay? And so you put it where these two are facing each other, and that's how we're going to start. So we're going to flip this over, and we start in the back, and we just start putting the pages on through the little loops like that. And what you can go ahead and do, I do this now. You'll want to cut all this excess off because we aren't going to need it, and you'll want to cut it the loop just beyond the last 10 or 10, I forget what you call these, prong, little prong. You want to cut just beyond that one over on this side, and you just use some pliers or some really good cutters, and then that cuts right off. So now we have the right size for our binding. And then you just go through and add the pages. So the story is still in order. So if people want to read the story, it's there. You just flip through the decorative papers. And line all the holes up. If you wanted to add an envelope, you could punch holes in the envelope and add envelope in here. That's pretty easy to do. Yeah. Like I said, you could add pockets. I mean, you can make it as decorated as you want. But I'm just kind of showing you the base idea. And then you all can probably come up with all sorts of fun things. So then we put the cover on, and then we put the back cover on where the two covers are facing each other. And so what's cool about this machine is it's all in one. So then you take this off carefully, off this section, and now you're going to rotate around to the back. And the back is where the cinching of the binding takes place. So you put this back in here and then use the same handle, and the handle will push this down as well, and it will close the prongs up and close it and make it a bound journal. So I'm just going to start at this end, and you want to push it all the way up to the back of the machine. And then there's different settings for how big a spine is, and so I have mine set on the one for my journal, and then you just push it down. And yeah, that looks good. And then I want to do this last little section here. Perfect. And then you bring your back cover around to the back. And the reason you do it that way is because then these are all hidden in the back cover. Look how cute that is. So let's do a little flip through of the pages. Pokey Little Puppy is one of my favorite little golden books. And I usually will sell little photo pockets with these as like a little extra item. And, you know, that way people can just put the photo pocket down and then add their photos, or they can just glue their photos right onto the page. So cute. Yeah, I like these papers. These turned out very nice. And a little sparkle glam. It's one of my favorites. I like this one too. And they could do some journaling on them as well. That one. And then that one. So that is how you make a little golden book with a spiral bound binding. I hope you all found this tutorial helpful, and I appreciate you all so much. And yeah, come back. I'm going to do some other updated tutorials on my little golden books where I have an actual spine. I'll either do like 2 or 3 signatures. So I already have an older tutorial. I'll list it down below. But I thought I would do an updated tutorial since I'll be making a few of them. But look how cute that is. I think that's a good thickness too. So it's 22 pages plus the book pages that are in there as well. All right, guys, I'll see you all on the next video. Be sure to check out my YouTube memberships and my Patreon. You can join my Patreon for free. Sometimes I'll do freebies, digitals over there, and giveaways. All right, guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.